Hi guys, welcome you back. This is question 3 from last year assignment. So I took it from that paper and I also browsed through some of the papers. So this is a calculation revision session prior to your test 2 that will take place in about 18th of May, close to 19 or 20. I don't have a specific date, but an early preparation make it make it good towards your test. So what happens is that let's look at this problem and see how we can solve it with the least cost combination table that is about to be used, right? So now let's go through it. Suppose the wage rate is 30 rand an hour and the rental rate for capital assets is 60 rand per hour. What additional information do we need to find the least level of capital and labor when packaging 1,000 cases of fruit juices? So the first thing you are about to look now is that we are speaking about the isoquant. So the isoquant curve, they involves the product, right? In the y-axis, you have the product. In the x-axis, you have the product, right? So what happens here, you look that, oh, I'm given the wage. So that is particularly related to labor. Then, oh, I'm given also the capital asset. That is in conjunction with capital, right? But we are given capital asset, right? And now, what additional information do we need to find the least cost level of capital and labor when they are packaging 1,000 cases of fruit juices? Or it means that they are in a production of fruit juices, right? So now we have to draw a table showing everything, calculation of the least cost level of combination. In our assessment last year, we were asked about this table, then we must draw this table. It was around 8 marks, guys. But no one had ever taught you about this table, right? So you need to know about this table. Luckily, the table is found in the notes, but surely in your notes, this is the table that I'm speaking about. It's not there. It is in that formula sheets that I've formulated for you guys, if you can look at your note. So what happens is that we were asked to draw the table that shows everything, which is everything is that we will speak, we have a labor, we will also have the change in labor, and we'll have the capital and also have the change in capital, because the marginal input, the marginal rate of input means nothing, that there should be a change in labor over the change in capital. That is, they want to see the rate in a change in two given variables, at this case, at labor and capital. So then you draw the table. Luckily, the table, let's see the table that we managed to draw out. And this is the table, guys. The very same table that I showed to you. So you see, it should be clear to everyone. Okay, so this is table that is showing the least cost input combination. So you see capital. This is a standard table, remember, from 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Then now the change in capital, no change in capital when the capital was 80. Then we have negative change. And also, if looking at the labor, we also have the negative, nothing change at the first. Then we also have the change. You see that your marginal rate of input substitution is in between nothing but labor and capital. So you see lab dash cap. It means that it's between the change in labor with the change. It's between the change in capital as well as over the rate of change in labor, right? So what do we want to see and what exactly we want to know is that we are given the wage rate, right? So the wage rate that is given is 30 rand per hour. The rental rate for capital asset that is given, it's 60 rand per hour. So therefore, what we know about the ISO cost line or the price ratio is that it equals to the negative wage over capital asset. There is always a negative. It means that negative wage over capital asset rental. So in this case, you remember that you are given your 30 rand, so you say 30 rand over 60 rand. So this gave us negative 0.50. Then, since now we have the ISO line, then we go and search in our MRIS. Then we looked at, we have negative 1.25, negative 0.8, negative 6.7. Oh, here is negative 0.50. It means that is where we have the least cost combination. So if this is where we find the least cost combination, how about what exactly now do we need? We need to know the change, and now we also need to know the capital, and also what we need to know, the change in labor. Everything now is fixed, right? But we haven't completed the question. It cost around 5 marks. That's why I choose these questions, because they could be critically asked, right? So now what is given? Done that. Now we want to know that as much as we go through is that the price ratio is equal to the marginal rate of input substitution, as the input combination of which there is 40 units of capital and 80 units of labor. So this is more like an explanatory from explaining from the table that the price ratio is equal to the marginal input that was we found, which is was negative 0.5, and that is where you say now you've got 40 units of capital and you've also have 80 units of labor, right? So let's look at the question. Oh, it asks us that what is the isoquant line in such situation, right? I've answered that question for you. Now it says, where exactly is the price ratio equal to the MRIS of the input combination? Then we've also answered that question with where exactly is that price ratio that we've calculated equal to the marginal rate of input substitution of input combination. And I've given you the information based on that. Then the last question is saying that at optimal, how much does it cost the business to package 1,000 cases of fruit juices? So we want to know how much it costed the business, because we are always optimizing with the least cost combination so that we will be able to maximize profit, which is the aim of every business, right? Okay, let's look how you must solve such a calculation. So now, at optimum cost of packaging 1,000 cases of fruit, therefore, you must know that the cost equals to the price times the price of labor multiplied by the wage rate plus the price of capital multiplied by capital asset. Since we have found the prices, since we know there are 40 units as well as 8 units of labor, so what we need to do now is that we take them for the labor case. We say P into labor times wage rate. So it's something that has to do with labor, must always be a wage or salaries, right? something that has to do with capital, it would be capital assets, right? So then you take your 80 multiplied by 30 rands plus 40 rands multiplied by 60 rands. Others could say it's simply unities, so I don't need to put R. Still the same case. You may simply say, okay, I don't have to put 2 R's. Then I'll just say R for 30 rand multiplied by 80 unities. Just did change to be the rands, or you also say, oh, since that is 40 units, let me say just 40 times 60 rands, then it's still gonna be going to the rands. Then you know the cost in overall of our production, which is the fruits that had been packaged, which in this case is 1,000 cases of fruits, right? Then you have the list combination, which is giving you as you see that now you have 4,800 rands. Then thank you guys. I'll keep on doing this just for more explanatory concepts. And I wish you have a lovely good evening and prepare yourselves prior to the test. Make sure that you do read the notes and you also ask from the lecturers. Then thank you.